Everyone always assumes that the true villains of this town are the ones wearing tailored suits and running criminal empires, or the rogue agents lurking in the international espionage underworld. But if you ask me, the most dangerous people walking these streets are the ones who genuinely believe they are the heroes of their own story. We are so conditioned to look for the mustache-twirling bad guys that we completely miss the monsters hiding behind a sweet, motherly smile or a shiny, authoritative badge. It is the righteous ones, the ones who think their terrible actions are justified by some twisted sense of the greater good, who inflict the most collateral damage on the innocent souls around them. Right now, we are watching two women spiraling in completely different orbits, yet they are hurtling toward the exact same black hole of moral bankruptcy. On one side, we have the newly reinstated police chief, clinging to her authority while her mind is slowly being poisoned by the ghosts of her past. On the other side, we have a young mother, a former teacher, and a newly appointed hospital board member who is desperately trying to keep her perfectly curated, idyllic life from imploding into a million pieces. They seem like they have absolutely nothing in common, but desperation is a universal language, and these two are about to become incredibly fluent in it. I am calling it right now, guys. These two are on a direct collision course to form the most toxic, mutually assured destruction pact we have seen in years. This is not going to be a partnership born out of friendship, mutual respect, or even shared goals. It is going to be a sinister alliance forged in the fires of pure, unadulterated panic. When you have two people who have absolutely everything to lose, and they realize they can solve each other's most fatal problems, the results are going to be nothing short of catastrophic for anyone unfortunate enough to be caught in their crosshairs. Let us take a massive step back and talk about the elephant in the room that everyone seems to have conveniently forgotten. The shooting. We all know who pulled the trigger and put a bullet into the man she claims to love. We know it, the victim knows it, and most importantly, two young, highly observant individuals know it. Yet, the local police department has been running in absolute circles, chasing their own tails and following dead-end leads for months. For a hot minute, they even pointed their fingers at a certain wealthy heir suspecting Michael of the crime. But without concrete proof, the investigation has stalled, leaving the true culprit breathing a massive sigh of relief. It is actually fascinating how a crime of this sheer magnitude has almost entirely faded into the background noise of the city. With so many other chaotic events happening, bombings, kidnappings, and international espionage, it is easy to see how an attempted murder got swept under the rug by an overworked police force. But the most twisted part of this entire saga is the victim's silence. Drew knows exactly who shot him, yet he has chosen to bury the secret deep down in his soul. Why? Because he is trapped in a suffocating web of blackmail, held hostage by the very woman who tried to end his life, alongside her equally manipulative biological mother, Nina. He is a prisoner in his own life, forced to smile and play along while his attempted murderer walks free. But secrets in this town never stay buried forever, do they? They are like ticking time bombs, and right now two young people are holding the detonator. Trina and Kai possess the undeniable evidence that could shatter this illusion of a perfect family and send a certain young mother straight to a maximum security prison cell. Imagine the sheer psychological toll that takes on someone who has fought tooth and nail to distance herself from the dark, manipulative legacy of her evil twin sister, Nell. She wants to be seen as the pure, innocent victim of circumstance, but deep down, she knows she is just as ruthless and calculating as the sister she so deeply despised. This is exactly where it gets interesting and, frankly, incredibly dark. I strongly suspect that this desperate mother, Willow, is already taking matters into her own hands. She cannot just sit around and wait for the hammer to fall on her perfect life. She is likely tracking the young woman who holds her fate, lurking in the shadows, trying to figure out exactly where the damning evidence is hidden so she can destroy it once and for all. It is a pathetic, terrifying game of cat and mouse. She is trying to protect her family, her children, and her newfound status on the hospital board, and she will stop at absolutely nothing to ensure that evidence turns to ash. However, the young man who shares this heavy secret is not stupid. Kai is highly observant, fiercely protective, and he is bound to catch on to this lurking, sinister presence. When he inevitably turns the tables and realizes what is happening, the hunter will immediately become the hunted. Our desperate mother is going to realize very quickly that she is entirely out of her depth in this psychological warfare. She cannot handle this alone. She needs someone with real power, someone who operates above the law, someone who knows exactly how to make massive problems permanently disappear without a trace. Now, let us shift our focus to the other side of this impending disaster. The brilliant, legendary strategist we all once admired is gone. Anna has been replaced by a fractured, traumatized soul who is currently being puppeted by the vivid hallucination of her most hated enemy. The ghost of a madman, Peter, is whispering in her ear, twisting her reality and pointing her rage directly at a woman who just got her life back on track. This poor target just survived a harrowing ordeal, only to find herself in the crosshairs of a police chief who has completely lost her grip on sanity and morality. The profound tragedy of this situation cannot be overstated. The target of this hallucination-induced rage, Britt, has just been cleared of a fake terminal illness diagnosis. She is finally looking forward to a long, healthy, and vibrant life. She is trying to reclaim her medical career at the hospital, trying to find her footing in a complicated world, and is completely unaware that the highest ranking law enforcement officer in the city is actively plotting her demise based on the whispers of a phantom. It is a heartbreaking setup, and it provides the absolute perfect opportunity for someone opportunistic to step in and fan the flames of madness. What happens when our desperate mother stumbles upon the police chief's dark, unraveling secret? What if Willow witnesses a moment of pure madness and realizes that Anna is taking direct orders from a ghost? She is manipulative and cunning enough to see this not as a tragedy to be pitied, but as a golden opportunity to be exploited. She will approach the chief with a pitch that is as simple as it is profoundly evil. A classic cinematic crisscross scenario. You eliminate my problem, and I will help you eliminate yours. 2 birds, 2 stones, and 0 connections to the actual perpetrators pulling the strings. I have to stop and ask myself here. Is this young mother truly capable of premeditated, cold-blooded murder? We have seen Willow do terrible things in the heat of the moment. We know she is currently resorting to horrific measures, using medical means to keep her victim paralyzed and silent. That takes a special, chilling kind of darkness. But orchestrating a professional hit? Maybe I am giving her too much credit as a criminal mastermind. Maybe her sheer panic will make her sloppy and erratic instead of cold and calculating. But then again, a cornered animal is always the most deadly. And right now, she is completely and utterly cornered with nowhere left to run. If these 2 women actually decide to pull this off, they cannot just leave bodies scattered around the docks and hope for the best. They need a flawless, airtight narrative. They need fall guys who fit perfectly into a tragic, believable story that the public will swallow without question. And the sickest part of this entire theory is that they have the absolute perfect patsies already lined up, ready to take the fall for heinous crimes they did not commit. With the chief of police controlling the investigation, planting evidence and steering the narrative will be terrifyingly easy. Imagine the twisted, devastating narrative they could spin to cover their bloody track. The target of the chief's rage, Britt, is found dead. Who takes the fall? Trina, the young woman holding the secret evidence. They could easily plant a trail of fake clues suggesting that Trina suffered a paranoid breakdown, genuinely believing Britt was stalking her in the shadows. They could frame it as a tragic case of self-defense gone horribly wrong, or a premeditated strike born out of irrational, unhinged fear. It completely destroys a bright, promising future, silencing the threat while neatly wrapping up the murder investigation in a tidy little bow. And what about the observant young man, Kai, who knows entirely too much? The perfect scapegoat for his untimely demise is the very man who was already shot. Anna could manipulate the crime scene to make it look like Kai caught Drew stalking someone, leading to a fatal, violent altercation. Or perhaps they frame it so Drew, frustrated and deeply traumatized by his paralysis and ongoing blackmail, finally snapped and took a life in a fit of uncontrollable rage. It is a poetic, sickening injustice, framing the man who was already victimized for a murder specifically designed to protect his original attacker. Think about what this unholy alliance means for the very soul of the narrative we are watching unfold. It is the ultimate tragic corruption of the righteous. We are witnessing two women who have spent years, even decades, fighting against the darkness, judging others for their crimes, and holding themselves up as shining paragons of virtue. Now, they are fully embracing the absolute worst aspects of human nature just to save their own skins and preserve their fragile illusions of control. It is a fascinating, horrifying character study in deep hypocrisy and primal survival at any cost. It really makes you wonder about the endgame of such a dark, blood-soaked pack. When the dust finally settles, when the innocent are locked away in cold prison cells, and the genuine threats are permanently buried in the ground, how long can two guilty women actually look each other in the eye? There is absolutely no honor among thieves, and there is certainly no trust between murderers who know each other's darkest secrets. It is only a matter of time before the crushing paranoia sets in again, and one of them decides that the other is simply the final loose end that needs to be permanently cut.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.